Chosen one, you didn't arrive here by coincidence. This moment was scheduled long before you were aware you needed it. This message reached you because heaven synchronized the timing perfectly, and your spirit was prepared to receive what your mind hadn't yet put into words. You're standing at a threshold, a sacred shift where everything that once felt confusing, isolating, or heavy is about to make sense. What you thought was random was deliberate. What felt like delay was precise preparation. This is not just a season. This is a divinely appointed now, a moment when God separates, refines, and positions those marked for greater responsibility. From the beginning, your journey has been different, not because you failed to fit in, but because you were never meant to disappear into the crowd. There has always been something within you that knew noise drained you, crowds unsettled you, and quiet sharpened your awareness. That awareness wasn't rejection. It wasn't weakness. It was consecration. There are seasons when God hides His work before revealing it openly. Times when separation is necessary so transformation can happen without interference. What is formed in secret is sustained in public. Chosen one, what you are hearing now is meant to bring clarity to what once felt confusing and peace to what once felt lonely. Understand this. God doesn't always guide us through explanations. Sometimes He gives us a steady place your spirit can return to when everything else grows loud. As the world becomes more chaotic, your path hasn't become unclear. It has become more exact. What feels like distance isn't loss. It's alignment. Heaven didn't pull you away to punish you. It pulled you back to protect what you're about to carry. I recognize this because I've lived it. There were times when being around people left me drained instead of fulfilled. Chosen one, if this message resonated with your spirit, acknowledge it quietly. You may do so in the comments as a sign of alignment. And if you feel led to stay connected, like this message as an act of agreement, and subscribe to continue walking in this space. We are moving toward 5,000 subscribers, not just as a number, but as a gathering of those who value depth, timing, and spiritual clarity. Remain steady. Remain aligned. What has been prepared in silence is now beginning to move forward. Conversations felt heavy. Gatherings left me restless. I thought something was wrong with me until I realized something valuable was being guarded. There's a reason crowds overwhelm you. Your discernment has matured. You're no longer guided by instinct alone. You're led by spiritual awareness. When certain environments lower your energy, that isn't fragility. That's wisdom. It's the same wisdom that knows when to move before the storm arrives. Chosen one, being chosen isn't flattery. It's responsibility. It requires discipline, restraint, and refinement. You carry a sensitivity that doesn't mix well with distraction or shallow connection. Your spirit registers misalignment long before your mind can explain it. You notice what others overlook. I've walked into rooms that looked fine on the surface, but something felt off, and later discovered what was hidden underneath. Your spirit sees first. You were never meant to be available to everyone. Some doors close because what you carry is too valuable to place everywhere. There is a time to speak and a time to remain silent, a time to gather and a time to withdraw. This is a season where heaven has chosen quiet preparation over public visibility. Increase doesn't arrive in chaos. Clarity doesn't land in noise. Promotion comes through stillness. You may wonder why your circle keeps shrinking, why invitations stop, why certain relationships faded without explanation. Reduction often precedes expansion. Not everyone can walk with you into the next season. That isn't rejection, it's selection. Your emotional sensitivity is part of your assignment. You sense atmospheres. You feel tension. You absorb emotion. That's why solitude restores you while crowds exhaust you. Without boundaries, you'd carry burdens never meant for you. Learning to leave when your spirit signals isn't selfish. It's obedience. This separation is sharpening your clarity. Your assignment demands precision. There are instructions heaven needs to deliver that can't be heard in noise. When distractions fall away, vision sharpens. This is how divine strategies form. This is how provision finds you without striving. Your inability to tolerate certain environments is evidence of maturity. You now require depth, truth, and alignment. Heaven has been quietly rearranging your life because something is being prepared that requires a clean vessel and focused mind. Spiritual promotion always begins with separation. You are not antisocial. You are consecrated. You are not distant. You are discerning. The pull toward quiet is restoration. It's where your strength returns. It's where heaven recalibrates you. Many miss their breakthrough because they resist the quiet. You embraced it, even when it was uncomfortable. This isolation is temporary, but it is necessary. It's building endurance. It's expanding capacity. It's aligning timing. When the season shifts, you won't move with confusion. You'll move with authority. You'll recognize the right people instantly because solitude trained your discernment. This isn't pause, it's preparation. Heaven is filtering noise so increase can arrive without resistance. I speak from experience. There was a season when everything in my life went silent at once. At first, it felt like loss. Later, I realized it was clearance. Supernatural transfer doesn't begin with applause. It begins with silence. It begins when God removes what drains you so you can receive what sustains you. You are not being sidelined. You are being positioned. Your assignment cannot be diluted. Your focus cannot be fragmented. Overflow without boundaries becomes loss. Your discernment is awake. You sense motives before words are spoken. You feel atmosphere before conversation begins. This isn't imagination. It's training. There is also a financial dimension to this season. Provision follows clarity. Increase follows order. Heaven is slowing your surroundings so your next move can be intentional. Delay isn't denial, it's alignment. Solitude amplifies wisdom. This is where strategies form. This is where doors open quietly. God is also protecting you from premature exposure. Not every blessing survives visibility. Some things must mature unseen. This season isn't questioning your worth. It's strengthening your foundation. You're learning stewardship. When to speak, when to stay silent, when to show up, when to leave. Authority is being formed here. Authority doesn't need validation. It doesn't chase approval. When the crowd no longer controls you, leadership begins. And don't be surprised if old connections resurface as your alignment strengthens. Not everything that returns is meant to remain. Discernment is your protection. You are not obligated to reopen doors that God closed to keep you safe. Some connections were meant for a season, not a lifetime. Some conversations have fulfilled their purpose. Let them end without carrying guilt. Chosen one, this separation is not leaving you alone. It is positioning you correctly. Even if you can't see the right people yet, heaven is already arranging them. God works in stages. First, He removes, then He replaces. The right connections arrive only after the wrong ones are no longer crowding your life. I've watched meaningful, God-aligned relationships enter my life only after I released the need to be available to everyone. Depth always follows boundaries. Anointed One, heaven is moving on your behalf in ways that will soon become undeniable. What feels slow right now is actually becoming precise. What feels silent is quietly gathering force. You're being prepared to receive clearly, to lead without distraction, and to steward without fear. This is not stagnation. This is a pivot, so remain grounded in the quiet. Let your spirit rest. Let clarity take shape. You are not falling behind. You are being strategically positioned. This season is not only about separation, it is about transfer. God never quiets a life without intending to place something greater into it. What you're experiencing is capacity being built. New wine requires new space, and increase cannot settle where distraction still rules. That's why the noise had to leave first. Supernatural elevation doesn't arrive loudly. It arrives clean. It comes when your focus is no longer divided, when your attention is no longer scattered, and when your obedience has been proven in private. The most powerful shifts in my life didn't happen when everyone was watching. They happened when no one was calling. That wasn't abandonment. It was alignment. Chosen One, you're being trained to carry more without losing yourself. That's why chaos feels intolerable now. You are no longer wired for survival mode. You are being shaped for stewardship. Stewardship demands order. It requires discernment. It requires knowing when to say no, even when something looks appealing on the surface. Crowds dull that skill. Solitude sharpens it. There is also a financial layer to this preparation that many overlook. God doesn't only bless, He entrusts. And trust is built through small, quiet acts of obedience. How you manage your time, energy, focus, and rest right now is directly tied to what you'll be trusted with next. I have seen opportunities bypass people, not because they lacked ability, but because they lacked discipline. Your discomfort in crowded spaces is teaching you something essential. You're learning to listen before reacting, to pause instead of rushing, to move when instructed, not when pressured. These aren't personality traits. They are leadership muscles being built in silence. This is also why comparison no longer grips you. You're no longer driven to keep up, to compete, or to explain yourself. That isn't indifference, it's maturity. The moment comparison loses its hold, clarity steps in. There is protection in this separation that will only make sense later. Some people could not go where you're headed without becoming a burden. Some conversations would have slowed you down. Some attachments would have drained you. God removed them quietly so you wouldn't have to fight unnecessary battles. That wasn't loss. It was mercy. Notice how your discernment has deepened. You sense when something is off, even before you can explain why. Your spirit has learned to read beneath the surface. That awareness is essential for where you're going. Promotion without discernment leads to compromise. Influence without wisdom leads to collapse. God is too intentional to rush you into either. You're also learning how to rest without shame. The world glorifies exhaustion and mistakes busyness for purpose. Heaven doesn't. Rest restores clarity. Rest invites strategy. Rest loosens fear's grip. Some of my most decisive moments came only after I stopped forcing movement and started listening. There is an authority forming in this quiet, not just resources, but weight. Authority comes when you trust God more than noise, when you obey without needing agreement, when your identity is settled before your assignment expands. Do not underestimate this season. Heaven is watching how you respond without applause, how you remain faithful when progress feels slow, how you choose integrity when no one is monitoring. These moments are being counted. And what is established in the unseen always produces favor in the visible. What's coming will require a different way of moving. You won't chase, you'll discern. You won't rush, you'll wait. You won't explain, you'll act. That's why the crowd couldn't come with you. Their pace would have pressured you. Their opinions would have distracted you. Their presence would have diluted your obedience. You are not behind. You are not missing anything. You are exactly where you need to be. When the release comes, it will arrive with peace, not panic. With clarity, not confusion. And you'll recognize it instantly because your spirit has been trained to know what is from God. Stay anchored in what is steady right now. Return to what grounds you when your thoughts race ahead. There is a quiet strength being formed in you, one that doesn't announce itself. It's built on ordinary days, on consistency without excitement, on obedience without confirmation. Waiting doesn't mean standing still internally. It's active in the unseen. It's choosing faithfulness when emotions fluctuate. It's honoring boundaries when loneliness tries to lie. I know this fatigue. Believing for a long time can feel heavy. Not because faith is gone, but because endurance is being stretched. Heaven understands that. That's why the pace has been slower than you wanted. God hasn't just been protecting your future. He's been protecting your stamina. Breakthrough without endurance becomes a burden. You're learning how to return. Not restart, not reinvent. Return to what steadies you, to what reminds you who you are. Alignment isn't sustained by constant revelation, but by consistent obedience. Roots grow quietly. Depth forms in silence. Some days your faith will feel strong. Other days, it will feel thin, but still intact. Heaven isn't measuring intensity. It's measuring return. This part of the journey couldn't happen in a crowd. It requires honesty. It requires staying open while waiting. It requires remaining faithful without numbing yourself with distraction. Faith doesn't always shout. Sometimes it survives by holding on to a single truth when everything else feels unclear. And that kind of faith lasts. Many people return to Scripture in seasons like this, not to study deeply or search for answers, but simply to open a single verse that settles the heart. One quiet line that restores balance. One reminder that brings the soul back into alignment. That gentle anchor has been made available for moments when everything else feels loud. And once it does its work, the noise recedes again. Chosen one, what you are developing right now is spiritual muscle memory. When pressure increases later, you won't panic. When responsibility grows, you won't break. When provision expands, you won't lose your center. This season is teaching you how to remain yourself in every condition. That ability is rare, and it is powerful. Anointed one, endurance is the bridge between what was promised and what will be possessed. You are walking across it now. Every day you choose alignment over impulse, trust over urgency, stillness over distraction. You are advancing even when it feels like the distance hasn't changed. Heaven sees the progress clearly. You are not being asked to perform. You are being asked to remain. Remain grounded. Remain discerning. Remain faithful in the small daily rhythms. This is how the weight of what is coming becomes sustainable instead of overwhelming. The strength you will rely on later is being quietly formed now, and it cannot be rushed. So hold steady, not with tension, but with calm resolve. You are not behind. You are not overlooked. You are being carried through a preparation that cannot be shortened without consequence. What lies ahead will explain the endurance required here. Stay present a little longer. What comes next will reveal how steady faith becomes visible authority, and how what you've carried in silence will soon begin to speak for itself. After endurance, a shift begins, and it's subtle at first. It doesn't announce itself with urgency or noise. It appears as steadiness. You'll notice that things which once unsettled you no longer hold the same power. Situations that used to drain you now reveal themselves quickly, and you step away without guilt. This isn't retreating from life. This is authority settling into place. Anointed one, you're learning to move without explanation. That is a sign of maturity. When your spirit is anchored, you no longer need permission to obey what you sense. I remember the first time I stopped justifying my boundaries. The peace that followed was immediate. Nothing outside changed, but everything inside aligned. That alignment is what you're entering now. What's forming in you is discernment paired with confidence. Discernment alone can make someone overly cautious. Confidence alone can make someone reckless. But when the two are joined, movement becomes precise. You're no longer guessing. You're no longer reacting. You're responding from clarity. This matters because the season ahead will require decisions made quickly, but wisely. Influence is approaching you not because you pursued it, but because you proved trustworthy in quiet seasons. People will begin to notice the stability you carry. Not everyone will understand it, but some will feel safe around it. Authority rooted in alignment does not need promotion. It is recognized without effort. You may also notice a growing intolerance for compromise. Things you once tolerated to keep peace no longer sit right with you. This isn't hardness, it's holiness taking shape. God is aligning your inner world with your outward choices so nothing leaks energy unnecessarily. I learned that compromise costs more over time than clarity ever did. Heaven taught me to choose truth even when it was uncomfortable. This is also where provision begins to follow obedience more clearly. Not dramatically, not all at once, but consistently. Small openings, timely support, unexpected favor. These are signs that alignment is bearing fruit. When your focus is no longer scattered, resources know where to land. When your spirit is settled, opportunities recognize you. A divine order is being restored in your life. Your time is being redeemed, your focus sharpened, your energy protected. This preparation is intentional. Nothing here is wasted. You are also learning how to recognize what is truly from God, because it arrives without confusion. It doesn't pressure you. It doesn't rush you. It doesn't demand that you abandon your values to receive it. When it comes, it will feel clear, even if it feels big. Peace will confirm what excitement cannot. Do not be surprised if your appetite for noise continues to fade. You're not disengaging from life. You're becoming rooted in purpose. Crowds feed on stimulation. You are sustained by alignment. As the season turns, this difference will become more visible. Many people only understand this in hindsight. You're beginning to see it now. Not fully yet, but enough to trust the process. Enough to stay steady. Enough to move forward without constantly questioning yourself. Remain attentive, not anxious. Grounded, not guarded. You are not closing yourself off. You are opening yourself correctly. What's forming quietly will soon express itself through action, through decisions, through doors opening without force. Stay aligned. Stay responsive. The next phase will confirm why this season unfolded exactly the way it did. What changes first is not your environment, but your posture within it. You are no longer bracing against life. You are standing within it, stable. This is how authority matures. It isn't reactive. It doesn't seek approval. It knows when to move and when to remain still. You're crossing from isolation into independence. Isolation feels like loss. Independence feels grounded. You are not steady because something was removed. You are steady because something has been established within you. That inner anchoring allows you to move through spaces without being shaped by them. You may notice now that when you engage again, you don't lose yourself. You don't absorb what isn't yours. You don't carry emotional residue home the way you once did. This is discernment becoming embodied, not just understood. You are present without being permeable. And this is essential because what's coming will place you back into environments, not randomly, but by assignment. This time, you'll arrive with boundaries already formed. You won't search for clarity in the moment. You'll bring it with you. Your trust in your own perception is strengthening. You no longer replay decisions endlessly. You no longer second-guess what you sensed the first time. That doesn't make you rigid. It makes you aligned. Confidence rooted in alignment feels different than confidence built on affirmation. It doesn't rise or fall with feedback. It remains steady, even when misunderstood. I learned this after being misread repeatedly and realizing that clarity does not require agreement. Heaven confirmed what others questioned, and that had to be enough. Your peace is now non-negotiable. You no longer trade inner stability for external harmony. That doesn't make you difficult. It makes you honest. Peace is no longer fragile. It's protected. And even your relationship with time is changing. Urgency no longer drives you. You know when to move. You know when to wait. And you no longer fill the space between with anxiety. Exactly as it was designed to. Chosen one, let this be enough for now. You do not need to rush the meaning or grasp for proof. What is unfolding will reveal itself through steadiness, not spectacle. If this message bore witness with your spirit, you may mark this moment quietly in the comments, not to announce anything, but to acknowledge alignment. And if you are led to remain connected, do so with the same discernment that has shaped this season. You may like this message as a simple act of agreement, and subscribe if you feel called to continue walking in this space. We are moving toward 5,000 subscribers, not as a number to chase, but as a gathering of those who recognize timing, honor preparation, and choose depth over noise. A practical spiritual reminder has also been prepared for you, steady, simple, and grounding, for moments when you need something familiar to return to. You'll find it in the description and the pinned comment. Go forward in peace. Remain aligned. What has been forming quietly within you will now begin to speak for itself.